Welcome to Waterboys College Football Show. Hope everyone's having a fantastic, wonderful Tuesday.
St. Patty's Day.
And
I'm wearing green?
No.
I got to call Brittany and tell her to pinch you.
Hog's the only team I got that I like. It's in the tournament, so I'm just hogged out today.
Everybody knows that I'm hog wild.
I even had our race car driver fill out a bracket today.
Nice.
So that'll be fun. All right, we got a lot of things we're going to get to tonight. As soon as I can find my there it is. My gosh. I was super glad that I got this iPad and then nothing's working. All right. We're going to be breaking down Big Ten in the way too early preseason breakdown. We're going to do our college football Mount Rushmore of the 2010s wide receivers, coaches on the hot seat, and the news about the SEC and the NCAA, a potential breakup coming. But we'll get to the Big Ten. So we talked about the SEC last week. Big Ten preseason rankings, and why is it not, in my opinion, why is it not Ohio State? We will find out. Last year, I think a little bit of an interesting year for the Big Ten. I think towards the beginning of the year, there were a few teams that we really thought we're going to have a better season than they did. I think Illinois started off hot last year, and everyone kind of thought, okay, didn't finish as well probably. But in your opinion, overall last year for the Big Ten as a conference?
I thought it was very strong at the top and underwhelming everywhere else. You know, I think you usually go into these Big Ten seasons and you kind of expect kind of the same thing every single year. You expect Ohio State, you expect Michigan, you expect Penn State. That wasn't the case this year. Michigan had a down year. Penn State was a train wreck. Ohio State obviously, you know, was the number one team basically all season long until they lost in the first round or in the Big Ten championship game to one of the surprises of the Big Ten this year, Indiana. And I say surprise as in like they won the national championship surprise. Right. We knew they were going to be good. I don't think that we thought they were going to be as good as they were. Maybe one of the best college football teams we've seen ever. You know, probably one of the top 5 best college football teams we've seen in the modern era. You know, and then you had Ohio State, you had Oregon. I thought USC had a decent season. You know, I thought Nebraska was going to be better than they were. They turned out to be a little bit of a disappointment towards the second half of the season. Yeah, I thought, like I said, overall, I think it was very strong at the top. You know, I think the Big Ten had the best top of the conference all the conferences. The top 3 teams in the Big Ten I thought were the best of all the conferences. But I don't think that the Big Ten led the way when it comes to overall conference performance. I do think, you know, they played well during the bowl games. They played well in the postseason. You know, specifically head to head against the SEC, they played really well in the postseason. But yeah, I think a lot of teams were a little bit more of a letdown than we were expecting them to be in the 2025 season.
Yeah, I think maybe the one thing that the SEC did that kind of changed over the course of the season is as we got into the end of the season, some of the SEC teams played better, like Alabama, where you were by the beginning of the season, we were like, boy, this may be a rough year.
Yeah.
You know, LSU
Texas started off slow. LSU started off slow.
Yeah. So towards the end of the season, you know, you're looking at it. Texas is playing well. Arch looks like the quarterback that you're kind of hoping he's supposed to be. Oklahoma starts hot, gets a little soft, ends really well. So, you know, the Big Ten, everybody kind of started hot.
Yeah.
It was really, you know, really, really good. For me, I think the thing that maybe frustrated me a little bit with the Big Ten last year is the same thing that I think frustrated a lot of people is, some of those teams that you added from the West Coast, they're just not ready. Like, and I don't mean they can't compete in the Big Ten because obviously, USC, Oregon, they can win a lot of football games, but I don't know what towards the end of the year, they're just something they just can't get. They're not any better towards the end of the year than they were when they were out in the Pac-12. And I thought, hey, give these teams 2 or 3 seasons in the Big Ten. It's going to help recruiting. They're going to get better in the trenches because they're recruiting from the breeding ground for guys in the trenches. And it just doesn't seem to do that. Oregon frustrated the absolute tar out of me all season. Because I was going back and looking at some of my notes from last season. I just kept saying, I think Oregon might be the best team in the country.
Yeah, and you did say that a lot. I do remember that.
Yeah, because I couldn't watch him play and not go, he's got everything. He has everything that you need. Defense was great. Offense was really, really good. Special teams was really, really good. And I think if you're the Big Ten, you're looking at it, because the comparison's always going to be made between those two conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC. Something, whether it's coaching, whatever it is, there were Big Ten teams losing games late that they shouldn't have lost, and SEC teams winning games late in the season that they probably I thought had no business winning. And I think that was the thing that probably for the Big Ten this year, you need a little bit more consistency as a conference during the regular season.
Yeah, no, I definitely see what you're saying too, kind of about, we'll take UCLA out of the conversation because that's just like,
they're whatever.
Bad. They're bad. They're a bad team. They shouldn't be in the Big Ten in the first place, but they were part of the package. Oregon, Washington, USC, all very good football teams. Oregon is the only one that is truly up to the task when they get late into the season. I mean, Oregon won the Big Ten championship their first season in the Big Ten, and they were right up there all the way this year, they beat Indiana in the regular season like they probably could have and should have. I think there is a chance that, we're having a completely different conversation about Oregon right now. But again, they kind of had a similar situation in the college football playoff. I mean, it was basically the exact same outcome there. And, Washington, I think people don't think of Washington as a school to go that is a football school. As hard as it is to go to Washington and win football games there, it's just not, when people think of Big Ten football schools, they don't think of Washington. I think they should. I think Washington is has a very good storied football program, good tradition there. But yeah, I definitely see what you're saying, And then you got teams like Iowa who just continue to win football games, even though they can't score more than 20 points. Yeah. Because their defense is always so good and they know how to control time of possession, and there's the recipe that works there. So, I mean, once Iowa figures out how to play football on offense consistently, it's going to be a different conversation. I think Iowa will actually start to be able to gain some of that respect to the Big Ten that they've been wanting so badly for so long. Really since, 2005.
Well, and they actually, this last year actually showed that they're trying to play offense.
Yeah. They did have the forward pass in their playbook this last season.
Yeah, like in years past, it would be like, I don't know that Iowa cares that they are like 10 yards in a cloud of dust. I don't know that they care. But, they've showed that they wanted to. I was looking at way too early top 25 from NCAA.com. They've got Ohio State at 1, and then they've got Oregon at 2. Obviously,
what website?
NCAA.com. Stan Becton. They finished 13-2 last year. They have Dante Moore coming back.
Yeah.
I think if he would have went into the draft, I think he would have been taken fairly high.
He probably would have went second.
Yeah. So the fact that you've got a guy coming back who I would say nothing changes. Nobody makes like some giant, huge freshman season leap going into it. Dante Moore might be your favorite as far as QB for the Heisman going into it. He's got a cannon for an arm.
Great quarterback.
Yeah, and that's not typical of Dan Lanning. Like, and before Dan was even there, Oregon has been able to figure out a way to have really quality quarterback play. They've got Indiana at 6. We talk about this every year. I don't know why this is the only sport where going into it, you ought to be ranked 1
until proven otherwise.
On every preseason poll. If you want a national championship, you should be number 1. Like but I understand it. They're losing a lot.
I think losing your quarterback, your best wide receiver, both running backs, I think
both,
are going into so I mean that's a huge chunk of your offensive production you're going to have to replace. But I mean, it's Curtis Signetti. He knows how to navigate the transfer portal better than anyone probably. So I wouldn't be surprised if they, because who'd they bring in as a quarterback?
I was just looking at it.
Relatively big name kid. I cannot remember who it was.
Hold on. Let me look at it again. 6. Josh Hoover from
that's right, from TCU. Yeah, so I mean he's a very talented quarterback. He can sling it, so I don't know if there will be too much of a drop off there. But I mean Fernando Mendoza was just, he was something else. He was as much as we like to talk about him, last season, he's a cornball, he's this, he's that. He showed up in the biggest moments, and that's why he won the Heisman Trophy last year. So, but I do think like replacing the Heisman Trophy winner, replacing your wide receiver 1, replacing both of your running backs, like that's a tall task.
Yeah.
So,
well, especially when you've got a guy that's coming in that you haven't actually seen in your uniform at all.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's Oklahoma or Ohio State, we've had eras where you were like, yeah, Baker's leaving, but like I've seen Kyler take snaps and he can play.
Yeah.
Ohio State's had the same thing where you're like, well, Fields is leaving, but like I've seen who we got coming in take snaps. I think Josh Hoover will be just fine. I think he didn't have an unbelievable offensive line at TCU, still really put up unbelievable numbers, broke a lot of records that had stood for a while.
Yeah.
As far as NCAA.com, they've got Michigan at 13. I think Michigan's the biggest question mark in the entire conference.
Yeah, it's like a weird question mark, like what could be.
Because they weren't terrible last year. They went 9-4. They weren't.
They're talented. It's a talented roster.
Very.
It's Michigan football. Like they're always going to have a talented roster.
They just had
to admit it.
Whether people if I say that off the field distractions, people are like, well, that didn't happen until. Listen, that stuff breeds other problems.
Yeah,
like they were having issues. I could guarantee internally before. So to me, they're the biggest question mark. What are they going to be able to do? That's going to be a tough job, but they do, Kyle Whittingham, good coach. He's going to have one of the tougher jobs that anybody always has, which is the guy that's got to come in. That's not only got to put a roster on the field, but he's got to show the fan base, the training staff. He's got to show everybody internally in the athletic department, like the mindset change and the culture change from the guy that you're replacing who was like a train wreck.
The era, the Harbaugh era.
It's hard. It's not the funnest thing in the entire world. It's not fun coming in being a first year head coach anyway. it's a lot harder to come in when you're like, "Hey, we got to do so many things different because we got a lot of money boosters. We got a lot of people that are waiting to see, are you gonna be able to correct this, or are you gonna come in and not change anything?" Um, Penn State, I don't think they can. I don't think they can be worse.
It's only up from here for Penn State. I think they made a great move at head coach.
Late, like everybody. Were we not talking about? Were we like, who is Penn State going to hire? Everyone's off the board.
Yeah, little did we know.
He's turned down every job he's ever been offered.
Literally, it's just like all of a sudden out of nowhere. It's just like
Matt Campbell,
yeah, Matt Campbell at Iowa State is completely available. Apparently, let's throw a bag at him and see what happens. There's like Penn State's a job you don't turn down.
No, but if a guy would, he would.
It would be Matt. Yeah,
I was looking at it because I thought I was crazy. I was looking at it this afternoon, thinking, his job, his name had come up for like the Dallas Cowboys at some point.
That does not surprise me one bit.
It didn't even go, but now he's not coming into a situation. They've got him at 20 here on NCAA.com's preseason poll. They were 7-6. They went to the Pinstripe Bowl. That's a terrible bowl name. Good Lord. That's horrible.
They play that one at Yankee Stadium though, so it's kind of cool.
Okay. Well, I don't hate that as much now. The cupboard isn't bare at Penn State.
No, not at all.
I think we're kind of talking about both sides of our mouth because we've said Virginia. We think Virginia Tech's going to do really, really well under James Franklin. I just think he needed a change, and I think Penn State needed to be done with him.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was like that toxic relationship. That's like, this started out really well. It's turned into neither of us like this anymore. Neither of us are having a good time. It just feels like we're just clocking in every day, going to work, going to sleep, and it's time for this to end. And it was a good choice on both ends.
Yeah, I'm sure Franklin learned a ton of what, he would do different if he could start over, and that's really good. But, Penn State, they've got Rocco Beck following Matt from Iowa State, good solid quarterback. He's not a guy that, how do I say this nicely? Sometimes when a coach leaves one place to go to another place, they bring their quarterback with him because they know that he knows the offense and he can
trust him.
He can run it.
Yeah.
But he's not like, you're not going, look out, we're gonna win 11 games this year.
Yeah. It's a talent drop off at quarterback, like fully in my brain. But I think Rocco Beck, he's got like a little bit of juice to him though. That's like, he's got a little bit of that dog. He's like Max Duggan.
Yeah.
At a TCU. That's kind of how I think of Rocco Beck. He's a good quarterback. He can play the position well. He's just a football player. Not a great quarterback, a good quarterback, really good football player. And that can win you football games.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be Dylan Gabriel at Oregon a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and especially at a school like Penn State that's able to recruit at a high level, get high level transfers, because it's Penn State. It's not Iowa State. It's it's a storied program, deep, rich history.
Do you feel bad for Drew Aller?
Not really. I mean,
you don't think Drew Aller under Matt Campbell has a better? Like, obviously, he couldn't come back. It wouldn't have worked. It would have been a train wreck for Drew to try to come back to Penn State.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question because his entire career was just underwhelming.
It never felt like it got better.
No, like the first day he set foot at Penn State, And the day he left, I feel like he was the exact same quarterback.
What do we call it last year? Great in a t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think his
great.
his pro day about to be the exact same. Like, it's just gonna be like, wow, look at the cannon on this guy. It's like no one has said that he can't throw the football 75 yards on a rope. Like, that's kind of what is like the allure of Drew Aller. But
We're just saying he's going to throw it to the other guys a lot.
yeah, it's the other parts of playing quarterback that he just like isn't the best at.
Yeah. And you feel bad because, had he been somewhere else his freshman year, does it change? I don't know. But I think the one thing that we talked about, we talked about Matt Campbell at Penn State. What did they had like a ton of 3 stars when we were looking at
we did just look at the transfer portal yesterday. It was like a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, Matt Campbell's a 3-star guy coach. Now, he will not be that forever. He will become a guy that this is probably the first time Matt Campbell's entire coaching career where he's going to get a choice of cream of the crop. Whether it's recruiting, money, he's going to get, but he had some incredibly successful years at Iowa State with guys you never heard of.
Yeah. It's like all 3-star kids.
And they'll play with a chip on their shoulder. Matt is unbelievable at getting it at breeding that like us against the world thing.
Yeah.
He'll have them convinced that no one believes in us, all that. And that for Penn State right now is you kind of need to have a little bit of an underdog mentality because you as a program you have not met expectations in 20 years. Couldn't beat the top. You haven't beat the top of the conference in over a decade.
They haven't been there since Joe Pa.
So you kind of need to like have a little bit of like we're going to earn our stripes. Because at one time, I think Penn State, when you were naming Big Ten schools, you said Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State.
Yeah, those were the powerhouses. But it was always that 1, 2, 3, respectively.
Yeah. Now they might be 5. Brand wise, like when I start naming Big Ten schools, I probably put them 5th.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't happen for a place that has that type of tradition, that home atmosphere.
Well, could be 6. I mean,
Indiana might.
Yeah. Like their brand has exploded over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And they just won the national championship. So you've got Ohio State, Michigan, Indiana, USC, Oregon. Probably 5 that I'm pretty confident are probably ahead of Penn State, where Penn State's at currently, like the current state of their I don't know. It'll be interesting. They did get a couple 4-star guys. Rocco Becht was a 4-star transfer. Let's see. I lost it. Here we go. Alex Mansky, another quarterback, was a 4-star transfer from Iowa State. So
he brought
your starter and your backup, both from Iowa State. That's pretty impressive, actually.
Look how the Cyclones this year have a rough
4-star safety, Marcus Neal. This kid's from Raytown.
Wow.
Kansas City school. That's pretty cool. Shout out to him. And then Benjamin Brahmer, their tight end. So they've got a couple 4-stars on in the transfer portal, but all the rest of them are 3 stars. And you can win games like that. That was Indiana's roster.
Yeah, no, 100%. I completely agree. As far as who probably, runs the Big Ten this year, I think it's a 1-2 race between Ohio State and what can Indiana do on a reload. But going into it, Ohio State has the quarterback and wide receiver and running back, like in that order. Like,
yeah,
they got that locked down. Their offensive line was good last year. They've got another year under their belt. They'll be even better. They've added some stuff.
2 great freshmen.
Yeah,
Chris Henry Jr., Legend Bay. I think both are going to be day one impact guys.
And they're going to be able to develop at a pace. And I think that's the thing Ryan Day has really done really, really well. It reminds me a lot. It reminds me a lot of like what Bob Stoops and Mac Brown, like what some of those guys were able to do. They would always have a high profile recruit coming in, but they would have somebody that had been in the program a couple of years. So you weren't asking somebody to come in and like, hey, we need you to light the world on fire when you get on campus. The new wide receivers Ohio State's got, it may be okay if they only get 5 targets for the first few games, and that's going to be okay, because you're not going to be asking them to come out of the gate and lead your team in receptions, because you've got the best wide receiver in the country there. And I think Ryan Day has shown to be incredibly patient with the growth of players. And I think that's probably something that's a little bit underrated. We were saying it probably game 5 or 6. We were like, he's just not asking Julian Sayin to do a lot.
No, that's going to be completely different this year.
Yeah.
Like I fully anticipate like it's year 2. It's just like CJ Stroud in the Ryan Day system. Like CJ Stroud, his first year, he did sling it a little bit more than Julian Sayin did because he got snaps when Justin Fields was still there. But the second full year of CJ Stroud in that Ryan Day system, we're going to throw it all over the yard. So yeah, I think he's not going to try to hide Julian Sayin because he's no longer a young kid. Like this will be his 3rd year in college football. You're throwing the football to the best wide receiver room in the country. You're going to have a really solid backfield behind you. Bo Jackson ended up coming back, which I think was the right move for him. And like I said, they added that Legend Bay kid who had the craziest recruiting experience that I've ever heard of. And then they brought in Jacoby Jackson, bringing in some of his success from Florida. He's got some SEC talent with him. And the last time Ohio State brought a former SEC stud running back onto their team, his name was Quinshawn Judkins. You remember what he did? So it'll be interesting to see what they're capable of doing. The biggest question mark for me probably on the Ohio State team is that defense, specifically down the middle. Because you turn on the draft next month, there's probably 6 Buckeyes going first round. 5 of them are defensive guys. All down the middle, from safety all the way up to nose tackle. It's going to be it's a lot of talent that they're losing on the defensive side of the ball at Ohio State this season. Yeah,
I mean, you're having to replace, obviously Caleb Downs. You're having to replace Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles. So, if you're an Ohio State fan, don't start thinking the sky's falling if they're giving up 30 in a couple of games. It may take till week 6 for you to, figure. You can do whatever you want in spring games. You can do whatever you want in camp. You cannot simulate real game speed. It's just not possible.
The one advantage they will have, though, is this will be their 2nd year in that Matt Patricia scheme.
And I think what I think last year maybe we didn't see till the end of the year was there might have been some weird holes on defense but the good thing with Matt Patricia was you had to be an unbelievable team to expose them.
Yeah.
You had to be unreal on offense to be able to capitalize on them.
Yeah, and then also just watching the combine, the athletes that were in the spots weren't really going to allow that to happen either. I mean, that's the reason they had the number 1 scoring defense in the country last season. So, but I do think it'll work hand in hand. They kind of had to be that good on defense this last year because the offense was kind of really slow and methodical. That's not going to be the case this year. So the defense is going to be able to give up, 20 points, 14 points a game, because I think the offense is going to score, north of 35 a game, close to 42 a game. So it goes hand in hand, I think. But I could say that all I want, but until we actually see that happening, it'll be, because it's been a minute since, it's the whole season last year. Buckeyes fans, we were like, all right, it's week 8. Let's turn it on now. It's time to throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith. It's time to throw the ball to Carnell Tate. Why are we running like 8-minute drives? This is weird. This is not how Ohio State plays football on offense. So it's been a little bit of a minute, but I do think that they're going to get back to kind of quintessential Ohio State offense this next season.
Yeah, and you're going to have, every year it's going to flip flop. For Oklahoma this year, we're going to be in the same spot. We lost two guys, specifically two guys, but we lost a lot more on defense, but two guys on defense who, like, one of them, we were laughing at the NFL guys that were like, this Jennings guy's real fast. It's like, you just don't watch football. Like, you just don't watch college football. Yeah. Unbelievable. So, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you go back to 2019 LSU. The defense was good, but you don't have to be that good.
Yeah.
When you can score that many points.
Yeah, they could be, and it's a good thing too, because they can be relaxed.
Yes.
They don't have to be.
Will turn a team over. I think that's the thing that the great defensive coordinators in college football right now have figured out is, like, they do the same thing Oklahoma does. They punch at the football. Like, you're gonna turn a team over and create these giant momentum swings.
Those extra possessions are huge in college football. Yeah, especially with the schedule that Ohio State has this year. I think they've got 6 ranked opponents right now on their schedule, so they're going to need those extra possessions to beat them. And I think we should pay a little bit more attention to Oregon this coming season. I think Oregon's going to be really good. I think Oregon's going to be really, really good. I think Dante Moore might be top 3 Heisman favorites in my brain going into this season.
Yep.
So, I think Oregon is going to be they're not going to be sneaky good because Dan Lanning is going to let people know how good they are. But I think Dan Lanning has kind of had it at this point. He wants to win so bad. I think he wants to win worse than anyone in that building. And you're bringing back a talent like Dante Moore at quarterback. It's Oregon. They always have guys on that offense. I know that they're losing Kenyon Sadiq to the draft this year. Big deal. You're going to be able to replace him at tight end. You have guys every year at wide receiver. Your running backs are always really fast. I think Oregon is going to be a legit problem in the Big Ten this season.
100%. All right, let's do 2010s college wide receiver Mount Rushmore. This was actually a lot of fun to look at this list.
Some of these names I have forgotten.
Yeah, I forgot how good they were. Like, I was not. I mean, I'm not going to give any picks away, but there was some of them I was like, oh man, I forgot. That guy was a problem. And so we'll each do 4 in no particular order at all. We'll go back and forth. All right, give me the first one you want.
Oh man. Give me Let's go the highlight reel. Give me Tavon Austin. I want to put him on my Mount Rushmore.
He is the greatest highlight reel in the history of college football wide receivers.
It's unbelievable. Ohio State actually, after their spring practice the other day, they always have that camera set up going back into the locker room. There's a question underneath. It was the most random, or the best highlight tape you've ever seen. And half the players were talking about Tavon Austin. And these guys were, I don't know, 5 years old when that highlight tape dropped. So it's so funny to see that these guys are out here Tavon Austin was him.
And he could do it all. He was one of those guys that you just West Virginia just tried to figure out a way to get him the ball. It was he plays wide receiver. We're going to do a lot of stuff where he's going to get the ball.
Jet sweeps, buck sweeps. He's going to be our kick returner, our punt returner.
I mean, he had I can't remember how many 500 plus all-purpose yards games.
Where it was ridiculous.
And they didn't have a whole lot. So it's, part of that was just, hey, we got this guy. No, 100% agree. And I forgot how good Alabama had it in the 2010s. Good night.
There's some big names on that list.
I'm going to take, for my first one, I'm going to take a back-to-back Biletnikoff winner, just because he gave my Oklahoma Sooners problems. Justin Blackman out of Oklahoma State. everything you'd ever want in a wide receiver. Tall, long, fast.
Probably no other better quarter or wide receiver in college football history at like the catch point.
Yes.
He was unbelievable.
Pro career didn't pan out. He's struggled off the field since. I could be crazy. Did he pass away last year? I know he got arrested recently.
Justin Blackmon?
Yes. Unless it's a different Oklahoma State wide receiver. Oh. Okay, no, he did. Okay, he's not passed on from us, thank God.
Okay. I was like, I don't remember anything about that.
I know he did get arrested, so off the field, there's been some problems, but and that probably derailed his NFL career, but 2024 College Football Hall of Fame inductee. I think he was last with the Dolphins, maybe. I want to say Jaguars. So I'll take Justin Blackmon.
That's a good pick. That's a really good pick. Man, there are so many good names from the 2010s. It's like, do you want to take a Clemson guy? Do you want to take an Alabama guy? Do you want to take an LSU guy?
It's hard not to go, boy, right? Like NFL, they were unbelievable. Like, that's hard to not do.
Separating their careers is, like Jerry Jeudy. If you take him as a college athlete, I'd probably pass up on him in the pros.
Yep.
But him in college was special. I think this is gonna be one of my homer picks. Devin Smith out of the Ohio State University. He is maybe one of the best receivers to ever come out of Ohio State that is not talked about.
Yeah.
I think it was that 2014 season when they went on to win the first college football playoff championship. Every game, I think it actually may have been his entire career. I think every game that he had a touchdown catch in, Ohio State won.
It doesn't surprise me. His ability to get separation was wild.
He was so fast. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, he came in on the heels of Ted Ginn Jr. and Santonio Holmes too. He was kind of right after those two were in town at Ohio State's too. So, but I mean, that wide receiver room, that was also Michael Thomas was in that wide receiver room.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I'm going to take Devin Smith. I'm going to be a little bit of a homer here on that one.
I'm gonna take a little bit of a chalk pick. You'd be hard pressed to find a guy that had a better 2-year stretch than this guy. 2012 to 2014, 3,500 yards, 31 touchdowns. Amari Cooper at Alabama. Like, he was one that by his first, I'd say his first 2 games, he gonna play in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah. He was so big and so strong and so fast.
Yeah, just like a man among boys. His body was so developed already at like 19 years old. He had played on some unbelievable teams. Obviously, that helps a ton.
Yeah.
But his ability to be kind of like the player for them where you just knew that nobody had an answer for him downfield. Like, you just did not have an answer for him. You couldn't body him up because he was too big. You couldn't keep anybody step for step with him because he was just fast enough. And I want to, I think that was with AJ McCarron's years. So, he's got a guy throwing to him who's, wins multiple national championships. So, yeah, he was a problem. And as good as he was in the NFL, he was better in college.
Yeah. And I mean, he's still in conversations for teams that need some wide receiver depth in the NFL.
That's when you're good, like, fundamentally. When
like 12 years later, it's like, wow.
Like, when the speed isn't there, but you go, yeah, but man, he can get open.
Yeah.
little bit of that Terrell Owens thing where even 5 years after he retired, teams were going, I mean, though, could we just get
Yeah.
10
Chad
players out of him?
Johnson,
Yeah.
another one of those guys. Yeah, for sure. Give me Sammy Watkins. I know a lot of DeAndre Hopkins is a bigger name that comes out of Clemson, but you go back.
Careers Sammy Watkins had a Clemson.
No, you go back and you watch the Sammy Watkins Taj Boyd connection. That was special. I think CJ Spiller was that team's running back too. Like that Clemson team was good. They were very good. But Sammy Watkins was so fun to watch when he was playing college football. His career was okay in the NFL, but his college years were spectacular.
His name would just come up all the time in like you needed one. Like I love the guys who's like 3rd down, 6, and you were like, you're going to have to cover whatever. I don't know what you're going to do, but if he gets half a yard on anybody here, it's automatic. And Sammy was that for Clemson those years. This was going to be tough. I'm going to take Mike Evans from Texas A&M. You know, his ability to get open when a play would break down because he's, got Manziel back there. I think maybe at the time, I don't know that we really understood how meaningful that was at the time. Now that he's, now when I saw him the last couple of years with Baker, and you would see that and go, oh, they're kind of doing what they did at A&M. Like play break down, Baker just go, where's Mike? I'll just find Mike. And he, he's going to be probably a first ballot Hall of Famer, but his college years, he's really kind of that first class at A&M where you started to go, okay, they can put together, they're not just all hype. Because those couple of years with Johnny, they weren't just all hype. That team was really, really good.
Yeah.
And what is he? What year is this for him in the league? Is this year 14, 13?
It's close. I think he just got signed by the 49ers.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's in his spot to go get a ring now too, which is amazing. I think he already has one he got one with Tom. In Tampa Bay, but to go get another one, kind of just do that ring chasing thing at the end of your career. And I think last year was the first year he hasn't had 100 catches in a season.
Yep.
Since he's been in the league. So Mike Evans was one of those guys that like great college career, great pro career, just was always good.
Yep. Oh, your last one's going to be tough.
I know the last one is really, really difficult. There are so many guys you could go with. You can go Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, you could go. I mean, you could go DeAndre Hopkins if you wanted. You could go anywhere here. But I'm going to go off the beaten path here. One of the guys, we've talked about him before. He's just never mentioned. Corey Davis.
Yeah.
Western Michigan legend. I just looked up his stats here. He had 5,285 yards and 52 touchdowns in his career at Western Michigan.
That's just so dumb.
Just unreal numbers. Ended up going 5th overall in 2017. First team All-American in 2016. Just an unbelievable college career. Like his worst season, 67 catches for 941 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's his worst year. Some wide receivers would kill to have that kind of a season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Corey Davis.
My last one, I'm going to give some love to a guy that had an unbelievable college career. You knew it wasn't going to work in the NFL because he was a little bit older. And it's Ryan Broyles at Oklahoma. Set the NCAA reception record. Didn't like physically nothing that like was just gonna like jump off the page to you, 5'10", 190 pounds. But you know, he just had something, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He just had something, and he was a ton of fun to watch. And here's how you know when someone's good. Every time an Oklahoma quarterback would get into the NFL, like his name would start coming up of like, well, could you bring Ryan in? Like, it's like, you know, he's not it, but could you bring him in? Like, you know, and still hangs around the university quite a bit. He's my brother actually did some work for him. He like flips houses, still drove the same car he got in high school, still like one of those like down to earth guys, owns a bar on campus corner.
That's cool.
Never like buys into too much hype. You can see him walk around campus, you know, and taking pictures of people, super humble guy. But yeah, his college career, just wild, the stats that he put up. And, you know, didn't have a ton of speed, ran a like 4.57 40, which at the time wasn't going to light the world on fire in the combine. But as far as college goes, and, you know, maybe if he hadn't gone to Detroit, maybe some things are different, but that was still an era of Detroit football where you were like, he probably going to go there and die. Like,
yeah, that's where career, that's what happens to careers there.
Is it wide receivers in Detroit?
Not anymore, but
yeah, this is pre,
yeah.
But so yeah, that'll be my number 4.
Dude, some of the names that like I just pulled up here is just like Michael Crabtree, Devontae Smith, Larry Fitzgerald.
You could make a case that Michael Crabtree's
Fitzgerald wasn't in the 2010s, was he?
No.
Okay. Yeah, he would. Yeah, he's not on this. Braylon Edwards also, I don't think, was in the 2010s.
Marquise Lee out of USC. Do you remember he won a Blitnikoff? Unreal.
Percy Harvin. There was one name that I scrolled past that I was just like, oh my God. Julio Jones. Just another one of those guys. Dez Bryant, CeeDee Lamb. Dwayne Jarrett.
There's a good one.
Out of USC. It's just there have been such good wide receivers. Calvin Ridley.
Dude, Alabama had so many guys in the 2010s.
And they never freaking threw the football.
No, they'd have a great. This was before Saban was like really interested in getting like high, like big recruiting buzz quarterbacks.
This was the run of Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, Trent Richardson. Who came after Trent Richardson? He was in the league for quite some time. Like, it was just like a run of guys in the 2010s. They never threw the football, but you look at the guys they had, like, it was like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah, they, like, you know, it's you can't fault them for it. They won like 9 national championships.
Whatever it was, it worked.
It worked. But
Nick
I want
Saban.
to shout out a couple of guys from small schools. Antonio Brown's Central Michigan career was unreal.
CTESPN.
CTESPN. Justin Hardy out of East Carolina was unbelievable. And then AJ Brown out of Ole Miss. And listen, there wasn't nothing else going on at 2018 at Ole Miss other than AJ Brown.
Yeah. And there's a team about to send 2 first-round draft picks to the Eagles right now to get him.
Isn't that wild?
So he's been around for a minute and he's still dominant.
Yeah. That's good. Next week we'll probably roll it back and do quarterbacks from the 2010s because that one will be even tougher. But shout out to the wide receivers and shout out to Oklahoma State. I almost forget. It shouldn't be allowed for a school to have Justin Blackman and Dez Bryant in the same 10-year span. That should not be allowed.
Yeah. Especially with like the mismanagement of the quarterback position that school has done historically. That ends this year. That ain't happening this year.
They did that in common with Alabama. It was like, well, who's throwing in the ball? I don't know. Who cares?
They're open. Doesn't matter.
All right, coach is on the hot seat this year. Good news is we're not talking about Sam Pittman. Shout out Sam Pittman, great guy. But we're not talking about Sam Pittman this year for the like 4th year in a row.
His seat was hot for a long time.
He would just, you gotta love Sam Pittman though, because he, like, Regents would be getting close. They're like, this is it. And then he'd win one where you go, Dad gummit. How do you, like, what, it 1 year you can't remember what is it 2 years, like, beat Notre Dame 1 year. You're like, golly, Pittman. Coach on the hot seat this year. I don't think there's a coach on the hot seat whose seat is hotter than Lincoln Riley. Like, this is it for Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
If he does not win more than 10 games, I don't know why you're keeping him, because you're paying him a boatload of money.
What does their schedule look like this year? 2026.
It's all going to come down to how many games did they have at home.
They've got San Jose State, Fresno State, Louisiana Raging Cajuns.
They're 3-0.
They open up conference play at Rutgers. Got to go all the way from LA to New Jersey for a conference game. That's like the most ridiculous thing in the Big Ten is the West Coast teams playing against Rutgers that is in New Jersey.
And it's it'll be cold.
New Jersey, it could be. It's like mid-September. Hopefully it's a day game.
You better
for USC's sake. Hopefully it's a day game. And then the week after that, they've got the week after that, Oregon at home, Washington at home. Then they go to Penn State, at Washington, or at Wisconsin, sorry. Ohio State at home, at Indiana, Maryland at home, at UCLA.
So the good news for them is some of their toughest games are going to get to play at home.
I see 2 losses for sure at Indiana and then Ohio State at home.
I think the Penn State game is going to tell a lot for their season. You're going to have a brand new head coach.
I think that Oregon game is 2 weeks before the Penn State game. I don't know if USC wins that one.
I would thinking they could beat Oregon.
So that'd be 3 losses then that I've already seeing off the top.
He's going to have to win one of these games. He's either going to have to beat Oregon, Ohio State, or Indiana. I don't think that they have a snowball's chance in a microwave of beating Ohio State. So it's going to come down to, you're going to have to split Indiana or Oregon. You have to split those.
Yeah, you got to beat one of those two. And if it's going to happen this year, it's probably going to be Indiana
because they got a new quarterback.
Because there's so much roster turnover there.
Yeah.
But again, we talked about at top of the show. Chris Ignetti knows how to navigate the transfer portal better than anybody.
Yeah.
So who knows? I don't think Washington's going to be a tough out, and they have to go to Penn State. Doesn't matter who the coach is, who the quarterback is. That is a tough place to play. It doesn't matter. They don't need to do a whiteout. Like, be done with that.
Yeah, don't do that. Well, and they're gonna you've got a coach that's probably on the hot seat, and you got a coach who's got a free season.
100%.
Campbell didn't have to do diddly poop this year.
No.
He just has to show like he got a handle on the program.
Yeah.
He could win 6 games, and they're not doing anything. Nobody's upset. Nobody's like, sky's not falling. On the other side of it, though, if you go in to Happy Valley and you struggle and it turns into a shootout at the end, then I say, if it turns out to a shootout at the end and they pull it out, then I change my mind on that. I think they can beat Indiana.
Yeah, because that's like week 6.
Yeah,
week 7. It's October 10th. Like that's the middle of football season. We're gonna know who you are by then.
Yep,
we're gonna know if you're good or not by then. So that'll be interesting. But I mean, also he has to go to Wisconsin. And I think Luke Fickell is also on the hot seat. Like, he's going to have to win some games if he wants to continue coaching.
Yeah, Luke, when Fickell left Cincinnati, went to Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a little bit like Iowa, where you'll look at their last 20 years, last 30 years, and go, Wisconsin, good football team. But their problem is they've just been trying to figure out who's the guy that can take them from like you got to buckle your chin strap up to play him type team to a like, hey, we got to play perfect against Wisconsin. Wisconsin and Iowa both beat you up, big in the trenches, like great home atmospheres, very underrated. But what Fickle did at Cincinnati, you really thought, man, he's doing so much with so little.
Yeah.
He's at a basketball school. Like we're going to go out to Wisconsin where they in the Midwest where they, care about that football a little bit more in that part. And it just has not worked.
No, it really hasn't. And originally I thought it was a really good hire when Wisconsin brought him in. But I like just as time has gone on, I'm like, I cannot believe that they are still going forward with him. It's just one of those things where it's like they're holding on. It's kind of like the James Franklin situation. Like they're just holding on for a little too long.
Yeah, it's one of those. He just needs one more year.
But also, if you think about it, they probably were sitting there and be like, okay, there are 15 other schools that have fired their head coach this last season.
That's a great point.
We should probably kick the can down the road. See what happens next year. Because there will not be another season where we see that many head coaches get canned.
Yeah, you would have ended up with a retread that you wouldn't have been happy with.
Yeah, you got like, I don't even know, just some guy that's like, why is he still coaching college football?
Yeah,
what is going on?
It'd have been what's his name from Arkansas,
Sam Pittman. That's kind of what happens.
No, who was the OC last year? The guy that we thought was going to get the job.
Oh, he was the guy who took over at the second half of the season. I forget what his name is.
You're motorcycle.
Oh yeah, Bob Petrino. That's right.
Yeah, it would have been somebody like Petrino that you'd have been like, "Come on, what are we doing?"
Like Dan Mullen. The game has passed him by.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're they've got a tough out. They got to play Notre Dame to open their season at Lambeau.
Yikes!
Like, hey, Luke,
let's open up the season against a pissed off Notre Dame team.
Let's put them in an NFL stadium so that you're guaranteed to be the number one game on TV that week. Like is it Peacock isn't already like glazing, Notre Dame? You're going to put them in Lambeau.
Yeah, that's a night. That's going to be a night game for sure.
It'll be rough.
Wisconsin, Notre Dame. Yeah, that's wild. Luckily, they followed that up with Western Illinois and Eastern Michigan.
Yeah. Hey, Luke, you're coaching week 1. And if anybody gets hurt, they got 2 weeks.
You could take a breath, like lay it all on the field. You're fine. You're coaching for your job.
A guy that 2 years ago I didn't think we'd still be talking about at the school he's at, Mike Norvell at Florida State. Have you ever seen someone resurrect their coaching career in a 24-month span?
And I don't know how.
Dude, was it 2024? Or 2023, where they lost like every game, where they played the game over in England or whatever.
I watched that game in an airport. What year was that?
It's 2023 season, right?
I think you're right. Yeah, 23.
I thought he was done. I thought by 2025 he's out.
Well, then he opens up this last year, beating Alabama, and we're like, wait a second.
Yeah, makes no sense at all.
They just fell off a cliff.
Yep.
Like a month after that Bama game.
Yeah, started 3-0, finished 5-7. But like you said, of the 3 games that he won at the beginning of the year, one of them was Alabama. Unless he loses literally every game after that, you're at least going to have to give him another year. But this is like the second time you're doing this now.
Yeah.
And the problem is the last 2 years, the other Florida schools were struggling.
Yeah, you kind of missed your window.
Yeah, this was your time. Now we got Miami's figured it out. Florida's bringing in a brand new coach. Your window is gone. You have to win 10 games this year. and you play in a weak conference.
Yeah.
Because any of us thinking Clemson's gonna like light the world on fire this year?
No, I think Dabo. I'm looking at some of the coaches listed on ESPN. It's got like a retirement watch section. It's got Belichick and Kirk Ferentz. I feel like Dabo Swinney's name should probably be added down there to that one.
You know what he reminds me of this year? I'm not saying he's on a hot seat from a university's perspective. I don't think that Clemson is going to be dumb enough to just can him, but I could see him being like a force out.
Like, hey, we're not going to fire you, but like
he forces himself out. Like he does the whole, because he started doing it now where he's like, this tampering and this, that, and the other thing, where he knows, he sees the writing on the wall that he might be coming towards the end of his tenure. And he starts this, I didn't get into this for college football to be like this. And I got in to build men. And he starts this thing. And then a very Dabo way, he's like, I'm leaving because college football's changed too much. But it's like, no, really, you thought that your brand and your coaching meant more, and you were late to the transfer portal thing.
Yeah. I think he watches the show. I saw a clip of him the other day talking about the transfer portal. He's like, here's how you fix the transfer portal. Every player gets one free transfer. And then after that, they have to sit a year. I'm like, I literally said that on the Water Boys College Football Show 3 weeks ago. Does he watch the show?
Coming from a guy who was like anti-transfer portal, that now he's like, here's how you fix transfer portal. It's like, brother, you and Mike Gundy were the two guys going, I am still committed to helping develop high schoolers. It's like, okay.
Well, if that's the case, why didn't Cade Klubnik get better?
Exactly.
You're lying to it. Yeah, their schedule sucks.
Yeah. It's not
They've
good.
got SMU, at Alabama, at Louisville.
This Florida State schedule?
Yeah. At Miami. Home against Clemson. And then they end the season Florida at home. But they've also got at Pitt in there. Not an easy out.
No.
So Florida State's got a tough road ahead of them. Mike Norvell, might be the last year for you, bud.
It might be. My last guy that I think is probably time to start looking at it, Shane Beamer, South Carolina.
Oh, yeah. It's just not working.
And there's too much. You know what I mean? It's just too much. Like, it's too much. Like, the South Carolina, like, it's too much about Shane.
It was kind of a clown show this last season, too, I
think.
think.
That's what I mean. It's just kind of like just weird stuff, like weird interviews, like weird problems with other coaches. Like, there's too much. Like, Shane, make it simple. You coach football, not like he overcomplicates the thing way too much.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a little bit of insight too with that SEC documentary, Any Given Saturday or whatever. You got a little bit of insight in there, and it's like, he's a little bit like kind of a
pick me. He's a pick me.
Yeah, I guess that's how that's one way to put it for sure.
Like, he wants to be.
I'm Frank Beamer's son.
That 100%.
You should respect me and love me. It's like, no, dog. Like, you ain't done.
He thinks he's Lane Kiffin.
I mean,
he thinks he's Sark. Like, to him, he's like, well, I'm one of the top.
That is his class, I guess. Yeah.
He acts like he's one of the top 5 coaches in the SEC. It's like, brother, nobody's beating your door down. I mean, let's go through. Would you take? I'm trying to think of a job that if it came open, that I would say that a school that's be an upgrade for him would be interested in him. Ole Miss, probably not.
I think Jeff Lebby is very good.
Yeah, I mean,
or not Jeff Lebby. I was thinking Mississippi State.
Oh, what's his bucket? Defensive
Yeah.
coordinator.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I mean, not better coach than Venables.
No.
I like Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State better. I think he got more upside.
Yeah.
Heupel at Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee doesn't do what they should do, but they're kind of the same coach. The difference is Heupel, the difference is the quarterback thing. Heupel has developed quarterbacks when he's at Tennessee. Beamer has not, and we had his quarterback last year on our board for Heisman watch for like a good
beginning of the season. Yeah, I think Steve's pick was Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, I mean he's going to have to figure it out. Or
where did he transfer to, by the way?
Oh, he retained him. It says.
Oh, did he stay? He did.
So this is the year. If they do not have a upward trajectory, considering that they're going to have a quarterback that's been in the program that long, if they don't show some buzz early, we were talking, a guy like Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State, there are guys you can go get that you could pay a little bit less. You're probably going to get better production out of. Shane's going to find himself somewhere like Baylor. And nothing against Baylor, but that's the type of places he's going to end up.
They might do a coach swap after this season.
Yeah. So ESPN's got Bill O'Brien on their list. They have Jeff Lebby, progress needed. ESPN, calm down. He's coaching Mississippi State.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Like,
did you guys watch what they did last year? They scored 60 points in one game.
Like, he's literally, you want to talk about scraping the bottom of the barrel to try to put a team together. He's doing a lot with very little. Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. He turned 70, apparently.
Yeah,
he may be just retired.
You can't be on Medicare and collecting a paycheck as a head coach of a college football team at the same time. Like, that just might make me sound like an ageist, but.
And then I've got one. I've got two. I think this is probably Bill's last year in North Carolina. I think he's going to hand the program over to his son. I've thought that since the beginning because it just never made sense to me.
Yeah.
And, people are like, that's crazy. Bruce Pearl just did it at Auburn. Like, right before the season for basketball, just was like, I'm retiring. None of you guys could leave because transfer portal's closed. All right. My son's taking over. And they made the tournament. So, I mean, but, I don't see Bill coaching. And then one that I could see Dion saying he's done. Give him another year or two. And I think Dion could say, I'm done coaching.
Yeah.
There's something weird going on up there. Like, he brought in all those stud NFL players as coaches and they're leaving.
Yeah. And he's like, he's had like several health issues.
A lot.
Since he's taken that job. I don't think it's not working at all. And we're pro Coach Prime on this show. Like, we love what he's been able to do for the game. What we love former players coming back and coaching. It's just not working.
I think that Dion, because I do like him being in college football. I think it's good for college football. I think he brings a level of excitement to it. I think that Dion could affect change in college football by stepping into the TV booth and being, let him do what Herb Street's do. Like, Herb Street is an unbelievable ambassador for college football, and Dion could be that.
Yeah.
And it would be less work. He's got boys that are, he's got, I think he's got one trying to play in the NFL, another one that may find himself on a UFL roster, but he's got grandkids. Like, he don't need this. And I don't want to see him. I don't like the shots that he takes during the season for reasons that we don't have to get into, but everyone knows why he takes shots. You know, I don't want this to be his legacy to young college football fans.
Yeah. I almost feel like Lee Corso left such big shoes on game day. It almost feels like the only person that could possibly fill them would be Deion Primetime Sanders.
Yeah. I agree.
I just don't know. I don't know if they could get through a whole show with him sitting next to Pat McAfee. That'd probably be a train wreck of a TV show every Saturday morning.
At some point, Deion's going to be like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah, Pat, shut up.
Like, why is this guy up here? Do we really need these eyeballs this bad? But yeah, I just don't see it would actually, I think, make me feel better as like a college football fan because his legacy with college football is still really good. Like Colorado was the worst college football program in the country when he got there.
Yeah.
And he made them relevant. He brought a ton of eyeballs to a program that needed it badly. You know, it's just, yeah, I'm just looking at it here. He had his bladder removed. He had reconstruction surgery. He's had toes amputated. Yeah, man.
Did he have cancer towards the beginning of the season last year?
Yeah. There are more important things than coaching football.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Somebody's trying to tell you to stop coaching football. I don't know who it is. Something is trying to tell you to quit coaching football.
It might be time.
All right, real quick. SEC and NCAA. Apparently, this is such a dumb topic, but apparently SEC commissioners or whatever we want to call, like, gave their commissioner, the SEC commissioner, the authority to explore stepping away from the NCAA.
What does that look like?
That's a really good that was my thing. Is I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean though?
It's gonna be a 16-team league.
Well, obviously, I think your first call has to be the Big Ten and go, how much do you guys like being in this thing? Because what else would be the reason you couldn't just have the SEC?
Could they do it just for football too? That's the other question.
I don't know how.
Because if it's all sports, terrible idea.
So I'm looking at it here. Greg Sankey breaks silence on multiple SEC schools wanting to leave the NCAA. He told Paul Feinbaum during his show, last Monday, that there are several member institutions that are looking to operate under an independent entity that doesn't function under the NCAA umbrella. Sankey, in response, claimed he'd be, quote, fine if every other institution and every other conference stayed right where they are. I've acknowledged there are those who have said we should go our own way. I don't think that's the right decision. We have relationships and responsibilities within Division I. If there's a point at which we cannot work with colleagues to solve the problems, I think the conversation that informs the question that you ask, is there something you do alone? I think that starts to generate more and more interest. But right now, I think for the medium term, we certainly focused on how do we keep the opportunities connected in Division I while still focusing on how do we make decisions that are effective for those of us, particularly in the Power Four conferences. I'm not a Greg Sankey fan.
I think honestly, you can't stand him.
Yeah, I think he's the captain of the no fun police. He's the guy that came out and was like, stop, no more flooding the field or storming the court. He's the no fun police. I don't, we've talked about this before. What is a Big Ten SEC leaving the NCAA, look like? My problem with this is going to be this. If there are legitimately schools, and that if he says multiple, I assume that means more than just a couple that are saying we'd like to go independent. Are you really, as a conference and as the commissioner of the SEC, willing to implode college sports? because that's what you'd be doing.
I just the only thing that obviously it's money. It's a money thing. That's obviously all this is. Because the results on the field say that the SEC cannot compete with the rest of college football right now. This ain't the 2010s anymore. This is the 2020s. And you guys haven't been dominant in the 2020s for a minute. Like I looked up their bowl record this last season. They were 4-10 in bowl record. In their bowl record, they were 1-8 against Power 4 opponents in bowl games. And I think one of those wins was because it was two SEC teams playing against each other.
Right.
So if you do this, it doesn't make sense at all outside of it just being a money thing.
Well,
they want the freedom to be able to do whatever they want in recruiting, to pay however much they want.
I think that's what it is, because.
But then who are you going to play? Like, what difference does it make at that point?
I think it's just a power move to get the NCAA to figure out what they're doing with NIL. I was watching Siski and McCready, and Siski brought up a really good point that there has been $166 million of NIL that has been approved through that new third-party thing.
For just the SEC?
In college football. Well, that number seems weird when we've got teams reporting that they have $20 million rosters. That means stuff's not getting approved. So you're bringing kids in, telling them you've got this NIL deal for them. Then you're submitting this NIL deal to this third-party thing, and it's not getting approved. So if only 166 million is getting approved, and there's, let's say, 10 schools claiming to have $10 million rosters, one of these things is not true.
Yeah, because then it just means that these players aren't actually getting paid what they
are being told they will get paid. And I think that's what this is. I think they're saying, hey, you told us we could do pay for play. You wanted to put it under the guise of NIL, and now you're going to do rev share. You are gumming up the works, and you're making this hard on us. I think that the SEC, if you put a true serum in them, they would like for it to be the Wild West. They could pay anybody however much they want. And I'm not going to be the guy that says, well, that's wrong. Hey, listen, there's nothing that is more free market than the NFL. And
but
every
the NFL
year
has a salary cap.
It goes up by 20 or 30 million every year.
Yeah.
Because the owners get together and go, we want to spend more money.
Though they also generate more money.
100%. And I think that's where people don't want to be honest with themselves. Some of those SEC schools generate so much money, and now they're having to be able to pay a guy. They're having to do it under the guise of like these NIL deals. And then this third party company is going, well, we looked at this NIL deal. This doesn't stack up. And they're saying that it shouldn't matter. It should be none of your business. Because then what I think is going to happen is that it's going to open up an antitrust lawsuit between the SEC and the NCAA for them to say, it shouldn't matter to you what the cost is. It shouldn't matter to you who it's coming from. If we find somebody that's willing to pay this guy, or we can put a deal together to pay this guy to come here, you shouldn't be able to tell us that you can't pay him that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they're at. Like, should a guy that has some giant, huge construction business in Birmingham be able to, you can't tell him no.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer the NIL question other than cap.
Yeah, because they're not employees, and that because like even the NFL comparison doesn't work because they're not employees of the university.
Yeah, it's like they're basically just all a bunch of brand deals. That's like all it is.
And how can you tell a kid you can't have this?
Yeah.
And what are you gonna do when he shows up and he's there for 3 months and he's waiting on his check, and then you got to go, it didn't get approved.
I honestly, like, I wish we could just go back in time and say the schools are not involved.
100%.
You are responsible for making your own NIL money. You'll get a cut of the NCAA college football video game for your name, image, and likeness, which is what this was always intended and meant to be. But now it's your responsibility. You need to have someone that's making cold calls for you to dude wipes or
start with rev share. Start with rev share, and then if that football program can generate more revenue than other football program, okay. Like I think NCAA is trying too hard to make it fair. It's never been fair. It's just now it's money, whereas before it was
it's over the table now.
Yeah. Whereas before it was, you go to Ohio State, you go to Oklahoma, you go to Alabama, you go to Georgia, we can get you to the NFL. Here's what our facilities look like. Here's the type of tools that we've got to help you reach your goals.
Which is still the case, even in the NIL era.
Those schools are still the ones spending the most money and have the most access to capital.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, well, Georgia can put together more NIL than anybody else. They were still out recruiting everyone else during that era anyway.
Indiana has one alumni that is plenty rich to outspend everybody.
And I think that is the price that you pay, and I think that's okay.
Sure.
If before Texas didn't have boosters that could just write checks to players, the same Texas boosters were writing checks to university to upgrade facilities to get those players.
Which this might just be like an old head college football brain in me, but like, yeah, that's the point. Like, that's what a booster club is for. And that's why I just think that the schools should not be involved in the payment of the players.
I don't disagree.
I just think that the schools need to be taken completely out of it. Maybe the conference can handle it, like it just goes a step up, like a skip level. But I don't know the answer. All I know is I don't like the schools being the ones that are involved. Like when Matt Rule came up to the podium, I don't know if this was a year or 2 years ago, and he was like, yeah, you want a good quarterback, it's about $10 million. I'm like, I don't think the coach should need to be thinking about that. Recruiting's already hard enough.
NFL coaches don't think of that.
No, that's the GM's job. That's the president of football operations job.
And that's why all these schools are hiring them.
Yeah.
They're like, we got a president of football operations. Why? Because the head coach got tired of worrying about roster. He's tired of it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to have to deal with it.
It really has turned into a mess. And then this kind of stuff starts to happen. And it's just like, this is stupid.
Yeah. I mean, we got so worried that Notre Dame was, raising stink. So we fixed it to where they, only have to, if they win a certain amount of games, automatic bids. Like where NCAA is trying to do everything it can to make everybody happy. And by doing that, they're making no one happy.
Yeah.
So, but if the SEC and the Big Ten got together, built the power conference, college football, as you know it, is gone.
It's done.
Why would a kid want to go anywhere but that, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah. You want to go to the,
National College Football,
the NCFBL,
or do you want to go play at Clemson?
You must
for
really
what
like
reason?
purple.
We don't know.
Purple and orange.
Because the NFL will quit caring about what's left of the NCAA overnight.
No, they will literally just pick off of that upper echelon.
And there'll be some schools that'll get invites. You'll get, they'll call Miami. They'll call some schools that are from other conferences.
They'll call Notre Dame.
Yeah. Schools that they don't have enough money.
If it happens, it has to be just football.
Yeah, you can't do it with everything else because it'll kill everything else overnight.
Yeah, and like that's kind of part of the issue with like this conference realignment thing is like conference realignment conversation was really just about college football.
Yes.
But now we've got USC swimmers having to go across the country to New Jersey to swimming a conference meet at Rutgers on a Wednesday night.
That was already a lose, like was a loss leader for you from a cost wise as a university. Now you're telling me the tennis team's got to pack up and go 6 states over, like
4 time zones.
It's so dumb.
It's just like it's the conference realignment was like probably kind of like the initiation of like this is a mess. But again, we have the conversation. This is what dominates the conversation during the offseason in college football. Because when September hits, it's exactly the same as it always is.
We kind of put it to bed. We quit thinking about it for the college football season, and then
and it's just about the Jimmies and Joes on the field. And then transfer portal opens up,
and we start
a week before Christmas for some dumb freaking reason, and then we have the whole conversation again.
So we don't have a fix for it. I did. The Olympics has brought up a good point. And I think the guy that's involved with Texas Tech is kind of, leading this charge of, we need to save these Olympic sports that are, universities are in danger of cutting. I think the Olympics has brought up a huge thing. The U.S. just needs to create a national training ground for the Olympic sports like other countries do, and take it out of a lot of, you can still have it if you want to at the college level, but you're going to need to figure it out because more of these Olympic sports are just going to keep getting cut.
Yeah, it's just a crazy thought about like Arkansas losing their gymnastics team or LSU losing their gymnastics team.
But it happened before. I mean, there were a lot more gymnastics programs 20 years ago than there are right now.
No, I know, I believe that, but I'm just thinking like the big ones that win the championships. Like for that to not to be a thing that would exist.
Yeah, for LSU to not have a track program sounds wild.
Yeah.
But
Arkansas just won another national championship in indoor.
Yep.
Like it's like that's the one sport that Arkansas has historic. Like they have like 44 national championships in track and field.
Yep. So
if you take that away, they have no more national championships.
No
opportunities. And then it just turns into basketball, football, baseball, softball.
Yep.
Volleyball.
At some schools.
Just those 6 sports.
So, all right, next week we'll talk best quarterbacks of the 2010s. Our Mount Rushmore's there. We'll break down the ACC preseason way too early rankings for that conference. And we'll probably have a few more things we'll talk about. If you haven't yet, make sure that you follow us, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, make sure that you give us a follow, and we will catch you guys next week.